Ευχαριστούμε πολύ, κυρία Μέρη Ζουνάζη, που μας δώσατε τη δυνατότητα να μιλήσουμε για την ταινία σας και να μας πείτε μερικά πράγματα για αυτήν.
Thank you for inviting me to talk to the audience. Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching the film. This film is something that was made from my heart. I went on an exploration to discover both Rembetika music, but also my family history, as it turned out. So it's a film that has a lot of personal meaning for me, as well as celebrating a particular type of music that has influenced not only Greek culture, but I think a lot of cultures around the world.
Είστε καθηγήτρια τέχνης και κοινωνικών επιστημών στο Πανεπιστήμιο της Νέας Νότιας Ουαλίας και αναπτύξατε παράλληλα μία καριέρα κινηματογραφική. Κάνατε ήδη μία ταινία που είναι γνωστή, το Dogs and Democracy, και ήθελα να σας ρωτήσω πώς συνδέεται η καριέρα η πανεπιστημιακή με τον κινηματογράφο.
Well, I think firstly and foremost, I see myself now as a filmmaker, and my research that I do as a scholar feeds into my filmmaking. So the other way of putting it is that although I teach at the university, I think a lot of the ideas, a lot of the subject areas, a lot of the themes that emerge in my films have to do with the kind of social interests that I've been interested in over the years. And the parallel between research and filmmaking for me is very close. They're not separate things. I mean, filmmaking for me is research in a way. Yeah. I mean, that's why I love documentaries. Yeah.
Yes. Επίσης, θέλω να σας κάνω μια άλλη ερώτηση. Έχετε ένα δικό σας προσωπικό στυλ, το κινηματογραφικό σας έργο, που είναι σαν να παρακολουθούμε ένα προσωπικό ημερολόγιο. Από πού έχετε αποκτήσει αυτό το προσωπικό σας κινηματογραφικό στυλ? Είναι ξεχωριστό.
I've been influenced by many great filmmakers, and one in particular called Agnia Varda, who is a French woman filmmaker who passed away a few years ago. So Agnes's work, and I was fortunate enough to meet Agnes before she died, but her work is always about somehow bringing some kind of personal connection to the filmmaking, so that the story that you're telling can enable the audience to relate to the story in some way. And she calls this, she doesn't see it, it is personal, but she says it in another way that I think is important. She sees herself as the work, and so as the work you become a character, and within that you open up a pathway for the story and for audiences to connect. And so she's a great hero. And I think her style of filmmaking has really influenced the way I do documentary. Yeah.
Η κινηματογραφική ομάδα είναι μεγάλη, έχετε πολλούς συνεργάτες και ποιος είναι ο προϋπολογισμός?
Yes, so this, to answer the question about, yes, making a documentary, this particular documentary I filmed it, I wrote it, I directed it. So a lot of the work I did myself in that way. And so it is a feature-length movie made with a very, very, very small budget. And most of the time, I think documentaries are made like this, because documentaries really are about somebody's passion, somebody's love. And often documentary films don't make much money, right? So it's not like you're producing something for, a blockbuster or something. So I think people that dedicate their lives to documentary are doing it because they really want to see some of the stories on screen that maybe you don't hear much about. And so I think it's a very unique type of filmmaking, really. I love it. I mean, I love documentary, but in the next, I am going to make a fiction film as well. So I'm moving into fiction, but I think my passion is documentary. Yeah.
Η μουσική, το ρεμπέτικο και οι τόποι, τα μέρη που πήγατε είναι πολύ σημαντικά. Γιατί?
Yes, so one of the important things about Rembetika music, and I'm using it in the plural, so is that it is a very uniquely Greek phenomena. Like it developed, sort of at the start of the 20th century in urban Greece. But what the film does is also trace the history of where that music kind of comes from, so that although it emerged here in this time, its influence really was also from Turkey, from other parts of the world as well. And so, and particularly from Asia Minor. So a lot of the refugees that came during the catastrophe of 1922, I think without some of those people who became Rembetiko players, I don't think you would have had exactly the same music. So the film is also trying to say how music crosses all kinds of borders and connects with people's bodies and feelings and emotions, that really gives some sense of connection to each other and to a history. And so that was what was important to me, to ultimately convey how music has the power to connect people in times of kind of tragedy and crisis. And I still believe that's true, not just of Rembetika, but of any kind of music, really.
Ποια είναι τα μελλοντικά σας σχέδια?
Okay, I have two. One, I'm in Athens right now, and I'm working on a film that's called Acropolis Cats and Other Wondrous Animals. So this film is actually about the stray cats that live in Greece. And again, that's sort of like the trilogy. I have Dogs of Democracy, My Rembetika Blues, and Acropolis Cats and Other Wondrous Animals. So this will be like a trilogy of my Greek films, exploring my Greek history, my connection to the country, and so on. So a lot of memory and identity and exploration. The second film I'm working on is called The Cousins, which is a fiction film. It will be a road movie set in Australia with two Greek characters. So one is a character from Greece and one is a character who grew up in Australia, and they meet and they go on a road trip, and it's about love, about loss, about memory as well, but through the interior of Australia. So I'm trying to show some of the beauty of this kind of landscape. And it's co-written with a wonderful Greek Australian author, Christos Chalkis. So it's co-written with a really wonderful author. So it feels like a very special project, this one too.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Προσπαθήσαμε να μην πάρουμε πολύ χρόνο, να ευχηθούμε μια καλή συνέχεια στο έργο σας, σαν καθηγήτρια και σαν σκηνοθέτης, και ελπίζουμε να δούμε σύντομα τις νέες σας ταινίες. Καλή συνέχεια.
Ευχαριστούμε. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you everyone for coming.
Yes, thank you. Me too. Bye bye.
Γεια σας.
Γεια
Γεια
σας.
σας.